Hi, everybody. Charles Cannon here, Certified Financial Planner for the Lifetime Income for You channel on YouTube. Make sure you follow us so that you get all the updated videos. Here's what we're going to talk about today. It was the big Berkshire Hathaway meeting yesterday with Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. And you know, they're two of the best known investors out there. So what did they have to say? Well, Warren Buffett came up with a quote that's probably going to end up being a classic. He said, "We do care about price, but we don't care about tomorrow's price." Now, what does that mean? What does that mean to you? It means he's a long-term investor and he's got a portfolio that's built for growth. Remember, in all of our webinars, total return equals income plus growth. And you should be in that G section when you're growing your nest egg. But when you're ready to retire, you got to look at the I section because it can protect you from what happens to the G. Because what he's intimating there is he knows his portfolio is going to go down over the next few months. Now, the question is, by how much? See, to be a prudent investor and a good steward of your money, you've got to protect it. When you are in your income mode and you're retired, you've got to look at protection. And Warren Buffett is trying to grow his portfolio still. Look at some of the things that are out there against us. First, we know the Fed is still raising rates. They just raised rates here in the first of the month. And they've got to continue to attack inflation. And the only way they can do that is raise rates and slow the economy. And we know that the Fed is willing to allow us to slow the economy to the point that we actually hit recession. And then they're not going to just bail us out of the recession because that would start up inflation again. We have got to allow the Fed to get us back down to those 2% rates that they say they want to get us to. And the only way to do that is that they've got to continue tightening and not easing. And so if you are retired, you've got to think about, do I want to miss that part of the roller coaster? I know it's the most fun part, right? Is when you come up the hill and go over the side, but that's not good for your portfolio, is it? Second, we know that every time they raise rates, it hurts the banks because money flows out of the banks and into short-term interest rates that are at higher than what the banks offer us because they love to offer us that 1% or less in our checking and savings accounts, right? Third, we've got the commercial real estate problem. This is a problem that they did address at Berkshire Hathaway yesterday, which is that we are at lows for occupancy. It means that we can't value a lot of those buildings correctly, and it puts a lot of pressure on the banks, especially those regional banks that have lent to those buildings. That part of our economy is very lending heavy. And therefore, that means the banks carry a lot of the problems with them if we get something systemic in the way of foreclosures and things like that. I don't want to say it's going to be like 2008. Hopefully it's not that harsh, but anything like that could be a problem for your portfolio. Okay. And so those things are all the problems that we're dealing with. Those are the storms that we've got to take into account over the next year or 2 years. Because when you're retired, something that happens in 1 year, it might take you 5 years to recover from it. You don't have time to do that. You have to ask yourself, are you at an age where you're willing to wait 5 years for your portfolio to get back to where it was today? Because that's what Warren Buffett's talking about. We don't care about tomorrow's price because he knows long-term, 10, 12 years from now, he's going to be ahead. Do you have those 10 or 12 years to wait? You know, I'm not here to scare you. I'm just trying to remind you that you need to be a responsible steward of your finances and consider how the money outflows come to you, some of them forced by the government in the form of required minimum distributions. How those outflows, when they come to you, are you also going to be dealing with the volatility in the market? And is that something you want to do? So this is Charles Cannon, Certified Financial Planner. I want to remind you, lifetime income is the most important part of your retirement. And I want to remind you that we don't want you to deal with a systemic drop in your portfolio of 10 or 12% or more. So be a good steward of your money. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk soon. Bye now.